Well, hey friends, thank you for being with us today. It's Pastor Luke here, and I'm here with Nicole Langman. Nicole, it's great to have you. Thank you for stepping in for this interview.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Nicole has a lot of professional experience as a counselor. She's serving in the Barrie area, and we wanted to take the opportunity to invite her wisdom into this season we're in, because obviously in the midst of a pandemic, there's unique challenges in place, especially as lockdowns keep us from certain activities or social gatherings or other things that have been a really healthy part of our life. And so what I'm going to take the chance to do in this conversation is just bounce some questions off Nicole, and I'm really grateful for her insight into that. But I'd love for you to share what would you say are some of the suggestions you have for dealing with stress and the toll that it can have on our mental health?
Yeah, so stress is usually rooted in our sense of inability to control outcomes or the sense of uncertainty, which is rampant right now for all of us.
Mm,
And so since we can't change COVID, part of the idea is changing how we move through it. How do we handle the situation, the uncertainty, things that we can't necessarily control? And so when I'm working with clients and I'm even just kind of like trying to manage my own kind of wonderings about it and my own stress around it, some of the things that come up for me is primarily is this idea of shifting my focus. And so what we focus on, we are going to find. What we nurture will grow. So if we're spending a ton of time focusing on COVID and COVID related materials and we're surfing the internet and we're doing all the things, we are going to be saturated even more than necessary. And so we want to kind of fill our minds with things that are not COVID related, things that are peace bringing and joy giving. So that's one of the things I would say for sure, shifting the focus. The other thing is having boundaries with our time.
mm,
We can be absorbed in the COVID discussions and media and all the things going on. And so this kind of internal external boundary piece is really important. And in mental health, we talk a lot about boundaries, having boundaries with our time and our energy. But there's also this thing, internal boundaries is around, where are we going to spend our time? What are we going to be looking at on the internet? But also, what are we going to be focusing on internally, having kind of these, internal boundaries with ourselves around what am I going to think about? What am I going to let myself feel? Where am I going to put my energies? Another area of importance and during stressful times is finding a schedule for yourself. Some
mm.
of us are not working, or we're finding that there's just different amounts of time available to us, and so we're sleeping differently. Maybe our sleep schedules are off, or we're eating differently, or we're just mindlessly going through Netflix or social media. But when we find a schedule for ourselves that includes balanced, healthy living activities, then we can find that stress will be reduced. Often stress is actually increases when we don't have a schedule. And of course, we want to connect with others and exercise. So we can incorporate those into the schedule, which is really, really
Mm.
important. One of the things for stress is rhythmic exercise is actually considered to be one of the better anti-stress
Really?
strategies. And so like dancing or like walking, it's rhythmic, or running. Well, if I'm running, it's not rhythmic, it's nasty, but it's you want to engage in like rhythmic activities to reduce stress. So those are some of the top ones that I would recommend. Of course, the connecting with others is absolutely key. But
Mm.
again, going back to the boundaries is how we are connecting with others. Are we talking COVID constantly and having kind of fear-based conversations? Or are the conversations that we're connecting with other people, are they nurturing? Are they life-giving and joy-giving as well?
That's a great and super helpful answer. Thank you for that, and thank you for your time today, Nicole.
You're welcome.